Hey, welcome to my July vlog. I have gone past the halfway point of the year, and so I've managed to post a vlog every single month, which will be nice because if I manage to do one every single month, I can kind of be able to look back and see kind of an archive of my life and what my year was like, and kind of the happy things that kind of happened in my life. I try not to dwell on the unhappy things, but actually there's been a lot of good things that have happened this year for me, so I'm very thankful for that. This summer has been good for the most part. I think the only downer is we have had a lot of car issues. Everywhere we turn for the last couple of months, a car has been breaking down or someone's been getting into an accident. My brother actually called it the tire apocalypse, and I honestly think it's true. My parents believe it. My parents said, I think God's trying to tell us something, and we have no idea what was going on, but we have all of our cars back and everything is good so far, so we're trying not to jinx anything. Aside from that, summer's been fun. Well, it's been really hot here in Virginia. Normally, we'll go to Busch Gardens, but we just haven't really had the time to. I enjoy going to Busch Gardens, and so maybe I might find a way to go next year. I haven't been there in a couple of years. At Busch Gardens is always worth going to. What else has been going on this summer? Well, movie-wise or television show-wise, we have seen that PBS has definitely upped its game, and we've been watching two new programs, Poldark and The Crimson Field. Both of them are fantastic. I love Poldark. Aidan Turner is a big reason behind it, but the storyline in itself is very intriguing, and I enjoy the characters. I was a little concerned at first about the fact that they were going to put in a love triangle, and there is something of a love triangle, but they've really kind of downplayed it in many ways, and they've kind of focused on the real love story between Ross and Demelza, who is now his wife, and the other woman, Elizabeth, who he had been in love with before he went to war, and really they've kept her a very intriguing, very innocent character. So I think they've done quite well with their portrayal of the women in the story. The other show, The Crimson Field, takes place in France in World War I, and it's about a medical unit or a MASH unit. For anybody who watches MASH, you'll understand that term. And it primarily focuses around three young nurses with very different backgrounds, and how the war and working as nurses has kind of brought them together. It is not really actually all about the nurses. You see kind of characters kind of come from everywhere, and how this unit brings everyone together. For Downton Abbey fans, you'll recognize a couple of familiar faces, so it's fun to watch, but it's very enjoyable. Kind of similar to Call the Midwife. It is a medical drama in many ways, so it's a little gritty, but definitely worth the watch, both of them. And then on Monday nights for the past several weeks, my parents, my sister, and I, this is kind of a surprise, I have been watching AMC's Making of the Mob New York, and I really kind of wasn't that into it until I actually sat down and watched one of the episodes. I was like, this is actually pretty good. This is kind of interesting, and it is about the formation of the American Mafia that started in the 1920s, 1930s, and it's quite enjoyable. It's a docudrama, so it's kind of part, I guess you can say part movie, but in the midst of it, I mean, there are actually actors playing these historical characters, but it's also in the midst of all of this, this acting storyline. There is commentary from authors, from family members, and from former mob associates. So it's quite interesting. It's quite fascinating. There are a lot of people on there that have complained that it is historically inaccurate, and that kind of confuses me because how can you call it it's historically inaccurate when they actually have historians and former associates on the show? But oh well, it doesn't matter. If you just want something interesting to watch, there you go. It'll pique your curiosity about it. Movie-wise, I've been so happy because I have been able to see a lot of great movies this year. It started with Cinderella, and then I saw The Avengers 3 times. I saw Jurassic World, which was so much fun. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I've never been a big Jurassic Park fan, but I really liked Jurassic World. Then we went and saw Inside Out. Of course, we had to see the newest Pixar movie. I mean, that had to happen, which was cute. And my sister and I just saw the Minions movie, which I absolutely loved. It was a lot better than I expected it to be. And I was reading in a magazine, and I found out that the 3 most anticipated movies of the summer were actually Cinderella, The Avengers, and Jurassic World. So I'm kind of happy that I managed to see the 3 most anticipated movies of the summer, and all of them were fantastic. So my movie summer has been literally a hit, which is kind of nice because the last couple of years I haven't seen any movies at all. I think the only movie I saw last summer was Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which was fantastic, which was really, really good, but there are a lot of other movies I had wanted to see too. And so I think this summer kind of made up for it. There are a lot of good movies coming out in the fall time. Pan is coming out. That looks like it's going to be great. Mockingjay, of course, is coming out. Mockingjay Part 2. What else? Spectre. I'm not a big James Bond fan, but I'm a big Daniel Craig fan, so that's the only reason I'm going to watch it. Well, Daniel Craig and Q. I like Q. And there's one more. Oh, that movie with Tom Hanks. City of Lies or something like that. Yeah, there's this movie with Tom Hanks that's coming out where that has to do with America during probably the 1950s, 1960s, and having to deal with the communist issue. And I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called. It's something of Lies, maybe Bridge of Lies. I'm not sure, but that looks fantastic. So still got a lot of good movies to see this year. And so that's television shows, it's movies. Oh, I've been reading a lot of good books. Well, I've actually been reading a book series. I have a book series that I started reading several years ago and then I stopped, and now I've picked up on it. The Left Behind series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. It's kind of an old book series because it was published in 1995. And I had started reading it, but I kind of stopped for whatever reason. And now I've picked up on it. Actually, what happened is they made 3 movies from the first 3 books. Yeah, from the first 3 books. So there were 3 movies that were made, and I really enjoyed them, and I saw them out at Walmart, and they were a good price, so I picked them up and watched them, and I just kind of was like, you know what, I need to finish the book series. So I picked up where I left off, and I just blasted through the last several books, and I feel like I'm kind of taking a break right now, but I'm going to get back into reading them. And for those who don't know what Left Behind is, it is about the end times and the belief of Jesus Christ coming back to get his followers, and all of those that are left behind on earth, all of the non-believers who are left behind, having to deal with the chaos and really trying to survive the reign of the Antichrist. The Antichrist, or Nicolae Carpathia, is a very, very important character. In the books, he's kind of dull and boring, but in the movies, if you get a chance to watch the movies, he's quite scary. He's kind of everyone's favorite character in many ways as well. So, the movies did a very good job with their portrayal of the Antichrist, whereas in the books, he's kind of boring. So that's kind of the only complaint I have for the books. But that's what I have been reading. And I was at the mall, and I came across this book called The Queen of the Tearling, written by Erica, I don't know if it's Johnson or Johansson, but it looks really good, and I noticed that I found it in a magazine, and people said it was kind of very similar to the Hunger Games and also Game of Thrones. So I was like, hey, why not for once be able to read a book series before it gets turned into a movie? But I'm going to start reading that soon. So that's kind of just been my summer activities. Oh, I'm getting ready to go back to school. I start back to school next month, and really excited about that. I get a lot of financial aid, so I have to go full-time if I want to get all of it. And I might actually end up doing another semester because of it. So that is it for now, and I will be back in August.